800-409-5633 or go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex. Call 800-409-5633 or efoodsdirect.com/Alex. You can bet your life on eFoods Direct.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
We are live from Austin, Texas with Aaron Dykes. They're waiting in the wings to add commentary today and also take over if there's any problems with our connection from Dallas as I overlook the private run-for-profit Federal Reserve. Lyndon Larouche is going to pop in for about 30 minutes, and then I promise for all of you, Dave, Gerald, Chris, Maureen, Jaron, Jason, everybody that's patiently holding, we're going to get to you coming up. The toll-free number to join us is 800-259-9231. You know, instead of just simplifying things, I always tend to go into all this minutia and the background and examples. And I think that's an effective way to get the word out. But I think it's also important just to sum up what's going on. I'm not a cheerleader. 10, 15 years ago, I was pretty negative about our prognosis because I saw the creepy police state being set up. I knew history. I'd read what the globalists said they were planning to do. But I'm pretty positive now because they're not as arrogant as they used to be. They're scared. Now, they still can stage terror. They can still launch new wars. And, boy, that's certainly getting on the front burner now. Israel Army simulates war call-up. That's coming up later. But still, once you identify the global banking structure that's not free market, the jig's up. That's why they're desperate, as they've been for the last 100 years, to brand all opposition to corrupt rich people as communism. And then that's something they control. That's collectivism. They don't want true grassroots free market. Aaron Dykes, you've been hearing me rant here. Give me your take on what I've been talking about here. Do you think I'm being overly optimistic, or do you concur that the establishment is just absolutely desperate to be endorsing Occupy Wall Street in an attempt to have them not see the Federal Reserve as the enemy?
Well, I think they're desperate to endorse it because they know that anger's there and it has to be vented somewhere. And the important thing is that they're waiting to steer that into the agenda that's already in place. Obama really doesn't have a leg to stand on anyway if you look at the way he's handled the economy in the true fashion. But if he sort of panders to the masses and pretends he's on their side and working for the middle classes, they may be able to posture Wall Street's candidate against Wall Street and co-opt that movement. And that's really what I think has to be warned against. Look what happened with the Tea Party. It started with Ron Paul type people who wanted liberty, who wanted to end the Federal Reserve, who wanted to end the wars, etc. And that energy was transferred into endorsing and rebranding establishment candidates. Now Herman Cain is leading in all the polls this week, 20 points ahead of even Romney. And he's a total Federal Reserve creature, but he has those Tea Party credentials. So when I see someone like Al Gore calling for an American Arab Spring and then not even a month till those Occupy Wall Street demonstrations started, I really look to those establishment figures for trying to take that energy, and they're trying to co-opt it. So we need to fight back against that and try to make sure we're still looking at the main issues, Alex.
Exactly. The establishment, to simplify it, just like they tried to make the Tea Party a partisan movement when it started out as just a true populist constitutional movement, they were somewhat successful. Now they're trying to brand the Occupy Wall Street as a Obama, Al Gore, American Spring, type thing where the solution is the tired old propaganda of collectivists everywhere like Michael Moore. And I notice here that there's giant starvation increasing in North Korea. North Korea spirals towards mass starvation. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You can't give everybody free education, free health care. Somebody's got to have something taken from them. And when you breed populations that live in dependency, you get the type of folks you see on the Jerry Springer show. And I go out into America, just since I was a child, whether the people are black, white, Hispanic, old, young, more and more America looks like a Jerry Springer show. From the fluoride, the bad food, the dumbing down, the TV, the people talking about mindless issues. It's a feedback loop, but there are still, I'd say more than half the population is not a Jerry Springer reject type. And it's up to us to realize the establishment is trying to play class warfare. And as Rand Paul said, they could take over the occupation. Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As we're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
They have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today, it seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at prisonplanet.tv. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones. I'm looking for people that have the wisdom to spot savings, opportunity, and recognize risk. Saving means to make money. The Cal Ben Pure Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated and twice as good as what you're using now. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils that contain no useless dyes, perfumes, deodorants, or antibacterials. Your risk is the hundreds of hazardous toxic detergents that give you rashes, itching sores, and deteriorating clothing called lint. If you want something better, if you want something you've never had before, you have to do something you've never done before. Getting a free catalog is easy by calling 800-340-7091 or see Calvin on the web at 5starsoap.com. Take charge of your health now by calling 800-340-7091 or see Calvin on the web at 5starsoap.com. This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365.
He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live. I am here on the road in Dallas, Texas. I want to encourage all of you out there to be sure and come out tonight to the Dallas Federal Reserve, 5 to 8 o'clock, and if you can, to stay out there, even if you got a nearby hotel, because I know folks that have families and things. It's hard to sit there and sleep out on the sidewalk or with a sleeping bag. Even if you rotate in and out at night and during the day, and then more people will come. We need to occupy this Fed here in Dallas to get even more media attention and make sure that Ben Bernanke and all the rest of them, the head of the Dallas Fed has come out today saying that he's in solidarity with the Occupy Wall Street people, not with the End the Fed people. We are the End the Fed folks. And it's time that we show that it's not about being liberal, it's not about being conservative, it's about being an American who wants your republic back. And that we're tired of this private offshore banking dictatorship that has hijacked our country. Now, Rand Paul came out today, and later if we have time, we'll play part of it. It's, again, up at drudgereport.com. It's our story from Infowars.com. Rand Paul, Obama's rhetoric could turn Occupy protest violent. And that's what I've said. The system wants a French revolution where the globalists can sit offshore and have a collectivist revolution to go after anybody who has wealth, anybody that has created jobs. A collectivist banker putsch to shut down the American system once and for all. The crony capitalist archenemy, as the founder of the Rockefeller dynasty said, competition is a sin. And so right now there's a battle over which way reforms are going to go in this country. The road the globalists want to take you, where they just blame Wall Street and the free market and the Federal Reserves and solidarity with the demonstrators, or the road of actually targeting the private Federal Reserve that owns the military-industrial complex, that has set up this corporate world government and is attempting to destroy our republic and every other free nation on the planet. Now, I want to be clear. Just because Ben Bernanke and the head of the Dallas Fed and George Soros and Al Gore and Barack Obama have come out and endorsed Occupy Wall Street, that is their attempt to basically, like a guy trying to get a date to pick up the girl at the bar. She's got to say no. That's their attempt to say, we're with you, we love you. Okay, at one level to co-opt it, but at another level to make conservatives and libertarians go, ooh, that must be a bunch of communists. No, I've had reporters all over the country. I want to report to you. The George Soros Move On people have not been successful. They have not been successful. Most of the people there have got their heads screwed on. They know what's happening. The media likes to go in, though, and show a bunch of people that aren't quite focused and don't know what they want to make them look confused. And then cut to, well, these people have got it together. They want higher taxes and free everything. Now, we're working on getting Lyndon Larouche on. We're having some type of connection issue. We do have him now. Aaron Dykes is riding shotgun with us. We're only going to have Lyndon here for about 30 minutes. Then I promise we're going to go to your phone calls, people that are patiently holding, and Bob Chapman's going to be popping in, and G. Edward Griffin as well towards the end. And then we're going to have G. Edward Griffin back on tonight with a never-before-seen interview we did earlier in the week for InfoWars Nightly News, 7 p.m. Central. If you believe in this type of information, please become subscribers at prisonplanet.tv because you're truly supporting the growth of the alternative media. Look what we're able to do now with reporters in multiple cities. We're here in Dallas. We're here launching an operation to target the actual central bankers, the actual crony capitalist monopoly insiders, instead of just a general Occupy Wall Street, capitalism's evil, free market's evil, raise taxes to pay it in austerity money to foreign bankers. Now, Aaron Dykes, anytime you want, pop in with questions for Lyndon Larouche. He needs no introduction. I've studied his material for about 16 years, and I cannot disagree with his analysis of how the world works, who was behind the power structure. Former director of the CIA called him the best private intelligence analyst organization out there. Of course, that's the LaRouche organization. You can disagree, I guess, with, at least I do, with some of their solutions. But regardless of that, out of all the hundreds of economists and historians we interview, he's in the top 2 or 3 of his accuracy and analyzing the Super Congress a few months ago with us and where all this would go. And now the admission that it's worse than the Great Depression in housing and spiraling out of control. And everything that's happening. Lyndon Larouche, thank you so much for joining us, sir. Bottom line, give us your executive summary on exactly what happened 3 weeks ago with Occupy Wall Street, who they are, and the attempt by the Federal Reserve inner cartel to co-opt it, in my view, and trick the people into calling for austerity to be paid to the very culprits of our predicament.
Well, of course, this is an old story. It went through several phases. What we're looking at now is the result of what happened in 2007 when the bailout process really started. It actually ran openly in 2008, but it was already running in 2007 at the end of September of that year. So we now are in a breakdown crisis of the entire international system. That is the transatlantic system. And there is no cure for this in the ordinary way. This thing we're going dead on the water. And you can't say exactly what date because a lot of things can be done to adjust things in the short term. but essentially we've reached the limit